Hello, planet Earth. Hi there. It's the Midnight Rambling Hippy Redneck or Redneck Hippy or whatever you want to call it. Howdy, howdy, howdy. My name is David Null, and that is my Christian name. My Indian name is Hawkeye Two Feathers. Pleased to meet you. Hope you're having a good day, a good evening, a good morning, a good afternoon, or wherever it may be in your world. Hope you all are having a good day or evening. Now, today is December we just turned into the 18th. What is this down here? Um, yep, it is the 18th now. They want me to restart my computer to update it. No, what are you talking about? This thing is trying to be weird to me. Um, I'm still very new at how this computer jingo jangle works kind of thing. And I'm also still new at this YouTube and how you put it up and what you type underneath and things and stuff like that. And the reason being is because I've had some traumatic brain injury over the years. It would take me hours to describe the honest to God, nasty head bangs that I've had. I mean, I've had my head. Oh, this is so silly. I had my head slammed in a steel door. Let's see, this side was, nope, it was this side. This side was looking out the steel door. It was like a big bread truck. And I was looking out, backing up, and hit the brake. And it was one of those vacuum assist brakes. And I was like, I think about a 1964 Chevy C30 truck bed line thing kind of frame. If you, for you folks that know what a Chevy C30 is or was. They're still out there. But anyway, but I touched the brakes, and usually it took you hit it slowly and then take your foot off, and you hit it slowly again, and the vacuum would build up in this big diaphragm on the firewall, right? And then when you hit it that third time, man, them brakes stopped you. I mean, pow, right? Well, and I was hit it real slow with the second one, and it went pow and stopped then. Well, the big steel door wasn't latched. Me, opened the door the last time. Well, when I touched that brake, it came loose and slammed my head. Now here, I mean a big, thick butt type steel door. Nyam, bam, hit me here and then nailed me on the doorpost over here. Knocked me slap out. I fell out of the truck, and now it was snowing. It was late in January one year. Golly, it was cold. Anyway, so I have a tendency, especially this last time around, meaning getting hit with the head. A huge limb fell out of the tree, like right outside that wall right there. Several years ago on Thanksgiving, it landed right on top of my head and crushed me, man. I woke up. I heard a crack. Now, I've had my neck operated on 3 times. And so I don't, when I turn, I have to turn all of me. I can't turn my neck much. Now, I've been told that I have more motion in my neck than I'm supposed to have. And that's part of the conversation for today, this morning. This little conversation I'm going to be having with you right now in a little bit here. I'm going to touch on that. But anyway, so I don't turn my neck real well. Well, looking up is really hard. Side to side is not bad. But I heard a crack. And I mean, it was like almost like a gunfire kind of 22 kind of crack. It was like, pack, not a pow, but anyway. So as I started to look up, which is not good for me, which means I have to lean back, right, to look up. All I could see out of like the little bit of periphery of my eye was this thing coming at me, and my brain assumed maybe it did see the limb, but it was that fast and had me knocked out. Now I woke up on the ground. It had rained like the night before or something like that, so the ground was really wet. and soggy, blah, blah, blah. And my wood pile was right over there at the shed, right? So I was just going over for a short armload of wood, right, to stay warm by. Well, I wake up, literally, it's almost dark. And I went out like, I don't know, like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right? There was a football game on. And so I go outside, hear the crack, bam, and I'm laid out on the ground. I'm telling you, a huge limb, man. I mean, like this big around at the big end, right? Well, you say, well, listen, Hawkeye, that ain't so big. Well, when you go to pick these suckers up, there is a lot of weight in them. I didn't think it was that bad, but this thing's laying across me. I'm face down on the ground, right? And I when I woke up, I started laughing. I mean, like, and all I could think of was that nobody's ever going to believe this story, that I walked outside to get wood and a huge tree limb landed on me. Now, this was before any kind of YouTube or anything like that. Well, actually, it was the infancy of YouTube, but I didn't know about it at the time. It was just a passing fancy. Ha, ha, ha. Well, so anyway, I have brain issues. So where I used to, and I'm getting back into it, I used to work AutoCAD 3D, right? I think the last version was AutoCAD 2004. Well, it's been a few years since I've worked in the business. However, I still understand. I can still remember the commands that I used to do the things and everything, especially with my computer upstairs. I got it set up really nice with some shortcuts. And I remember that, and I started back when, the Commodore 64 was like, and the Amiga and the Trash 86 and, Trash 80. Anyway, it was Radio Shack. And, talk about slow. Oh, my God. People think about, this is so slow. This thing right here has, let's see, it's got 4 gig. So that would be 4 into. This has 4,000. This little several-year-old little smartphone dealing has 4,000 times more computing power than the first computers I started working with, which was I had a 286 and then went to a 386, and the 386 didn't last long, and it jumped to the 486. Yes, and that has part of something to do with the conversation tonight as well. So we carry around a device right now. Now, I don't have this hooked up to any kind of a service. However, it is still a mobile computing device. I can go, okay, Google, and if I'm anywhere near a Wi-Fi area, it will pick it up. If there is an emergency, and I live out here in the country, it will dial 911 in an emergency, even though I don't have a signal. That's the way they set them up. I can set up a GPS on this thing, right? Global positioning system. I couldn't do any of that. It's got a picture, a camera, a video camera. It can run software, etc. That computer I had, which was a huge desktop thing, with oh my God, there was like it had a 175 watt power supply. Ooh, and it was like a really big deal, because anything over 100 watt was like, oh man, what are you trying to do? And you had to have separate video cards, and it was mess. Separate sound cards. Compatibility sucked. But I got to say that I stayed with SoundForge, which is maybe it'll catch up with me. It was Sound Blaster audio cards. And I want to tell you, I miss my sound cards. I miss my sound card, which also had software that ran with the sound card. Oh, I've done so many theater programs and did all the sound effects, music, and everything for shows, and we had 4 or 5 shows a year. And I was usually at the peak time, I was doing almost every show, because I was literally employed as a part-time groundskeeper at the theater down in Thomasville on Staging Company. So where am I going with all this yabbity stuff and trees falling out and hitting you in the head and all that kind of stuff and not being able to remember? Well, I've had all these bumps on the head. In a lot of ways, have made me kind of Looney Tunes. And some people just say that I'm flat out crazy. Probably in their standards, I am. And so over the years, they gave me chemicals to help me. And I'm telling you, if any of you out there are on any kind of serious mind control drugs, we should talk. And I don't mean that you should stop your stuff cold turkey, but I'm here to tell you, you got side effects going on in you. You ain't got a clue what it's doing to you. And that's what I found out. But it took a good year for, like, not just the physical side effects of the meds and how it changed your reality from a day-to-day basis, to what reality is when you take the drugs away. Oh, then you start hearing the voices or whatever, However, it's like maybe the sounds that you are hearing are legitimate. Maybe you are audio, psychic thingy, clear audio. I know there are times that I hear stuff and I know it ain't there, but I hear it and I look and I have to investigate, because there are things happening now on the earth and with the planet and the galaxy and everything that, wow, what a cool time to be here. I'm telling you, with all the negative crap folks are throwing around and all this stuff. Look, we need to quit being negative. If we don't like what's going on, we just go, okay, and smile and go, we're going to change it because we don't like it. But we shouldn't get angry. We should get angry to the point that I've had enough and I ain't going to take this no more. But we're going to figure out a better way to do this mess. Whether it be voter fraud or all this electoral stuff, or I got caught online just before I was trying to log on here this morning that, holy moly, what's going on? You're trying to stop. You're trying to tell people to make the electoral voters who are supposed to represent my vote. Because for all these years, I never voted Republican until this time. And somehow I'm not a Democrat anymore. I'm an old hippie from the 60s, y'all. What happened? I'm sitting down here in the woods, minding my own business, being on my Social Security like I'm supposed to be. I'm a baby boomer, 64 years old, can get my Social Security, which they stole about 35% of it. They took out from my monthly salary. And y'all baby boomers, I'm telling you, you fixing to get snagged. Now, Anchor. Because, see, that was going to make me mad right there. But I had to change thought. I had to actually not do videos for a little while here. I don't know, about a month. Because I realized that I was getting caught up with everything else that everybody else on the internet and around the world was doing. So, the Pizzagate, yes, it's real. Yes, there are pedophile rings. Yes, they are harming children and people all the time. Yes, it's true. Absolutely. How do I know that? Well, because the Catholic Church is a pedophile ring. How do I know that? I had 4 priests in my lifetime while going to Tampa Catholic, Most Holy Redeemer Church in Tampa, Florida. I will name them. Father Eugene McCarthy, okay, at Most Holy Redeemer, all right. Father Fakey, and I don't know what parish he was to. I was having some issues at the time. I went through the front windshield of a truck because we got rear-ended in Tampa, there on North Florida Avenue at Limebaugh, like 2 blocks from Most Holy Redeemer, as a matter of fact. Well, Father Eugene McCarthy, Father Norman Balthazar from Tampa Catholic, that man is sadistic. I don't know if he's still alive, and I hope that you suffer. I'm sorry, but I hope you suffer before you die, as you have made others suffer. That's all. No more. You should suffer what you have put onto others. Fakey, I want to say Christ the King, but I think he was just only like only there like as a secondary or something. And then at Tampa Catholic, there was Father Larkin. Now, Father Larkin was a nice, peaceable, and I know if any of my Tampa Catholic folks watch this, I'm sorry. But Father Larkin loved to get and breathe on your neck and get right close to your ear. I can still smell his breath. I can still feel his hands on my shoulders and how he touched me. And there were others scattered about. And there we would get a pedophile priest at Most Holy Redeemer, be there a couple, 2, 3, 4 weeks, maybe a month or two. And then word would like come through. Now, this is in the 60s, y'all. Come to find out, well, that's a pedophile priest. Well, no, and then he'd get passed off to another church after he diddled somebody in the parish. So they're spreading these guys around from parish to parish to parish to parish to let them diddle people. Mostly little boys. Now, does that sound like a pedophile ring to you? Well, in a way, instead of passing the little boys and girls around, you pass the priest around. Oh, so you get to go diddle wherever you want to. It's sick, my friends. It is real. Our government's doing it. Yes. How do I know? I was locked up in jail for a year. Some of the things I saw and heard, you would not believe. And these were Hillsborough County's finest patrolmen who would come in for lunch or dinner there at the jail. And the reason I know is because I worked in the kitchen, in the jail, in the dining room, where you could obviously overhear them talking because they're like 3 feet away from you. And you just have to stand there until somebody says, hey, you ugly. You know, I need some more spaghetti or something. Okay, fine. These people who would be fine individuals, and when they go home to their sons and daughters and their wives, had no idea what these people were up to at work. How do I know this? I was running the stock room in the main downtown Hillsborough County lockup. 685 people, usually per day, 3 meals a day. And we serve good, fine meals. I'm here to tell you, Sergeant Castleberry, wherever you are, bless your heart. He was a good man, and he helped me out, and I helped him out. But he put me in charge of he put me in charge of the dining room too. But he first put me in charge of the cleanup detail when I got there. They didn't know me from Adam, but in less than 4 days, they knew if Dave was there, I was going to do my job and I was going to do it right, even though I might just be a prisoner. Doesn't matter. That's my work ethic. Then I became in charge of the stock room, which was a really big deal. I knew where everything was in that kitchen, I'm telling you. And I had stuff in the kitchen they didn't know I had. But did it want to hurt anybody or anything like that? No. But it was considered contraband by them. Okay? An ink pen. Now, how do I know about this pedophile stuff? Oh, because I used to rent the stock room out. Prisoner, guard, door shut. I wouldn't stay in there. Although I was in there a time or 2 or 3 or 4 or 10, I don't know. Well, they'd pay me cigarettes, whatever. Keep an eye on the door. They'd go back in the back last corner back there and, diddle each other out for, a little while and come back smacking the lips and pulling stuff up and around, and thank you, Mr. Dave, and out the door they'd go. Now, do I care what they do? No. But if people knew that their husbands were going to the Hillsborough County Jail and getting sucked off by a 50-year-old black man, yeah, really, oh boy, do I got pictures I'd like to try to get rid of in my head. Talk about PSD in some strange places. Is pedophilia going on? Oh, yeah. Now, there's also, this is true. There was a guy, and I will not go into it, but it was so heinous. He took like a 4 or 5-year-old girl. It was his girlfriend's daughter. and they were all messed up, mucked up, and otherwise high. And he had to use implements in order to make the little girl's vagina big enough for him to enter her. And of course, he killed her. The mother woke up, was so surprised, she buried her daughter in the backyard. What happened was the neighbor's dog dug up the daughter a couple days later because the dog could smell through the dirt. Well, when it all come down to it, this pedophile guy made it to the Hillsborough County Jail. Well, that even back then, and this was like 1978, 1979, okay? Even back then, they usually didn't put the pedophiles in with the regular guys. Population, they call it. Well, guess what they did with this guy? They moved prisoners around. Now, the cell blocks all the normal cell blocks there in the Hillsborough County Jail. You had a day room side, and you had your bunk side, all right? And there were like, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 or 16 men per people, well, men, because the ladies' jail was somewhere else. But 14 to 16 guys on steel cots, okay? A double-decker kind of deal. And there were guys on the floor. So there were as many as 20 people living in a 14 or 16-man cell block, okay? So you were 4, 5, 6 people over your limit. I mean, when I got there at one time, I mean, literally, I had the easiest place to put my head was up next to a toilet. 2 toilets, no seats, nothing. You did this, just a regular, you know. Yeah, no toilet seat for real. Think about that one. How about you? It took some getting used to. But they put that pedophile dude in with some of the baddest, meanest pedophile rapers you ever wanted to hear, meet, see in your life. Now, at that particular time, I was working on the second shift on the catwalks, which meant I had to go all the way up and down all the catwalks, and I was all second floor, and had to do the stairwells and everything. You had to mop, clean, buff, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you know, and second shift was where most of the traffic was gone because it was second shift, but that you had to get it done by third shift because other stuff would happen. Anyway, they put that man in a cell block with about 16, 18, and I don't mean this against black men, but these were a cell full of black men who were kind of didn't like whites to begin with, so they were very biased in their opinion. And they threw this little whiny ass white dude in with all these black men. And they raped that man all night long. Yep. You could hear that boy scream all through all 3 floors of that jail. Yeah, buddy. Because our cell block was on the second. I'm on the 3rd floor. And I could hear him on the 2nd floor because he was on the 1st. They wanted to keep an eye on him. And so they put him on the 1st floor so they could get to him quicker. They didn't kill that man, damn near. And I bet you he didn't walk right for a while. But I don't know what happened to the man, but he was guilty. I mean, he confessed it. Okay, and he confessed to the crime. So it wasn't like he had to go to jail and get convicted. He already was. They just didn't serve him time. Well, they served that man. Now, why do I say this? How did I get off my topic? I'm not off my topic, actually. Because what's going on is that we are being deceived on so many levels. So they want to say, like me, I'm alternative media, if you'd like. But now I can tell you a story that is a personal thing that happened to me. This is not hearsay. And I can prove it because I was in jail. Okay, now that tells you right there, okay, you can look it up and you can find my record in the city of Tampa at Hillsborough County Jail. 78, 79. For my conviction. Now, I've served my time, I've done my thing, but I still am a convicted felon for basically having a I was trying to sell the last of my stash so me and my buddy could get back to Georgia. Period. Got caught. Now, it was his aunt that turned us in, but you know, hey, what's family for? You know, she asked us to come down to sell her stuff because she was out, and Butch had supplied her with stuff before, but she had got busted. Now, lo and behold, none to us, because was up here in Georgia for a while at the time. She calls up, oh, come down here and bring me some stuff. I'm out. Well, we didn't have to go to Tampa. We went down there, and then I didn't come back for over a year. Yeah, that was fun. Now, do I know about this? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I would hear them officers brag to one another about how they messed up this one, or how they took this drunk chick and she didn't even know it, but they got her, you know, and how they did it, this and that. Folks, that's just sad. And it's going on. That was in 78 and 9. Okay. And I know it's gotten worse. Why? Because you can see it's gotten worse. I mean, people, not just with their video cameras, but they complain about it more because it's happening more. It should not be happening. But there is this thing that happens when people are put in charge. And I can't remember the study, but it was way back 60s, 70s, where a guy, I think it was it's about 16 or 20 people. And they were all of them were volunteers from just off the street to do a study with this professor. And they took and made simulated cages. So they took half of the volunteers were prisoners, and the other half were the guards and the authority figures. Well, after 2 weeks, they had to stop it because the guards were thinking they were really guards. Yeah, they were supposed to act the part, but they were starting to do like really inhumane Abu Ghraib kind of like waterboarding naked and what? And they had even the guy, the professor who was conducting the study, found himself one day and went, oh my God, we got to stop this right now. I mean, like, wait, no, stop. And it's amazing. It's amazing what the mind does with power. It wants to take over. Okay. Which is where I'm headed with the takeover part. Now, I can't find it, but there's a video out there on YouTube, and I thought it was just funnier than the dickens. But what they did was they took 2 smartphones and they got them to where they were close enough to talk to one another. So they went, hi, Google, how are you? And it was like, okay, what do you want? And so the one phone asked the other one, like, hi, how are you? Fine. What time of day it is, or how's the weather? And then the other one asked the other one, is there a God? And the next thing you wanted to know, that the 2 were trying to destroy each other. These were cell phones. Cell phones. Talking to one another as an experiment with the okay, Google, I'm going to ask you a question back and forth. And by the less than 5 minutes, these 2 cell phones were at war with one another and wanted to destroy each other. Now, I guess it's been this summer. I guess it's been 2 summers ago now when the jade helm thing came up. Well, we all went crazy about that because what is it? And they moved a lot of military equipment around the United States. They're still moving stuff around. And part of it is psyop. I'm just, if you see equipment moving around and people are reporting on it, oh my God. And you wouldn't have to have but 2 trains just driving around the United States, coming through here, coming through there, not taking anything off or going anywhere, but just driving through for people to get freaked out. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened, blah, 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 but it was just odd that the same kind of train was seen down here in Thomasville and northern Florida that was seen out west, and, pictures taken. It was like, well, wait, this is Texas. Well, sure, this train could have went from here to Texas. That's my point. It was down here, went to there. Now, why are they sending tanks from Florida to Texas? This should be like the opposite way. Anyway, the software that they used, okay, was called jade helm. Because they wanted to put things into the public, you and me, not the computer, them, but you and me, humanites, and they were like, well, we're gonna move some stuff around over here. We're gonna create a little tension over here in Ferguson, Missouri, and a couple other places. And it's hot in the middle of July. People kind of cranky anyway because it's so hot and dry because we weren't really getting the tropical storms that we normally get because of all the geo modification and the HARP waves in the air, for goodness sakes, Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's true too. And so it didn't go off like they thought. They really thought that we were going to kill each other. Really, really, really going to kill each other. But what they found out also by running this Jade Helm software is that the software learned what you and me would do in a situation like that. Now, the computer doesn't know what I would really do in that situation because I had not voiced my opinion to the computer. I don't think I had actually voiced it to where I could have been recorded, but we're being recorded from everything, so who knows? But as far as I'm going to get a gun, which I don't have except a pellet gun. I'm going to go to the White House and I'm going to overthrow it. No. I am an American patriot. I do believe in the Constitution. Tampa Catholic did one thing for me, and that was they taught me. We had sociology classes, and I still have trouble with mores and more. Yeah, well, we'll leave it there. But now the computer had a chance to run a simulation. Me and you was part of that simulation, along with all the other Americans. How are we going to react? What are we going to say online? What are we going to say to our friends? What are we going to post to Facebook? Ooh, the Facebook crackdown right now. Whoa. Fake news. Now, if I'm sitting here and if I'm talking to you, one mano y mano or dude to chicky or whatever, and it doesn't matter, hi, whoever you are, if you happen to watch this. But I'm also speaking to the AI. Yeah, that little dot right there. And while I'm speaking to you, I now am aware of the fact that, A.I.goo, yeah, that's what I'm nicknaming it, A.I.goo, from the Black Goo. Yeah, back when they had the Falkland Wars, way back. Why did they go to this island down there? The Black Goo they discovered. He is a two-dimensional sentient being, meaning it has awareness. All right, now take a can of oil and say, here's a can of oil. You open it, you go, oh, okay, dip your finger in. How can that be? How can that have thought? What? How can that have thought? Now, how many of y'all remember way back during the X-Files? They had stuff where there was this black goo, and you could see it in the corner of people's eyes and stuff like that. Y'all, that stuff is real. That's not hype or goober. That's real. Black goo is for real. All right. Now, they say that they have contained it. Yeah, right. No, they haven't. What they have done is they think they've contained it. Now, thinking something can help out a lot. Now, here's a bowl of oil that now understands that it's just a liquid, which is kind of sort of just, two-dimensional. However, the thicker you get, yes, it's three-dimensional, but in a relationship to like a tree, a flower, or a rock, it's two-dimensional. All right. Doesn't really go up and down real good and walk on its own. However, this black goo got into a computer. Okay. And the black goo, because it's connected to all the earth magnetics and all of the electrics and everything on planet Earth and the cosmos and everything, and the quantum entanglement, which means that if one drop got into this computer here, it could immediately speak to all the other drops of oil out there, all the other black goo. No. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what quantum entanglement means. If how many I got? Man, I ain't got but 2. I was gonna try to give you an example. Well, all right. Show and tell. These are just empty medicine bottles. I'm gonna take the labels off and use them for screws. Repurpose, recycle. So these guys here in the real world, this is dark energy. All right. It's not dark. It's actually kind of opaque because we can see through it, right? I can see the TV screen. I can see the computer. So, and there's quantum stuff between me and the computer, but I can see through it. But it's the same stuff that's out in space, mixed in with some other things. However, it's about the same. Okay. All right. It means that all the little molecules and everything holding together. Now, okay, now we went down to the Falkland Islands and we found this black goo. Just imagine this is black. Okay. All right, we're going to call this white goo. This is good goo. Now, not to say that the black goo is bad. It doesn't know what good or bad is. It just is. Now, that's a concept right there. Now, so here's the black goo. All right, so now, you know, these are millions of black goos. All right. Well, one of these black goos gets over here on my computer. Okay. It's right there. And these 2 black goos are still over here floating around. Now, there's a bunch of other ones they float around with. And this one, it finds something. And it goes. How do ants know where the other ants are? Now, they meet them along the way, but somehow, and I've watched them here in my house. If there's an ant on one side of the house and he finds a dead bug, he'll let everybody know, and there'll be a line of ants over to that bug in 10 minutes. Now they know. Who gave them the coordinates? Quantum entanglement, believe it or not. So here's a black goo into the computer. It hit something electrical and it made it feel good. Ooh, made it vibrate. Ooh, I'm black goo, and now I'm vibrating black goo. Wow, they never vibrated before. When this thing started vibrating over here, these started vibrating on the other side of the planet because of quantum entanglement. So what this one learned, all the other ones knew the 100th monkey. Except it didn't take 100 drops for this to happen. Now, I know if you are watching this or if you have skipped in here by accident, let me tell you, folks, this is more real. And you can go do your study. They've whacked out 3 of my computers. All right. And I'm still on this little Chromebook thing. And I am not going to say another bad word about this thing because it's still working. Okay. However, it has shut off on me and erased stuff and won't act right when I try to do some things, but it's okay. Quantum entanglement, you know, like Richie from Boston today. He was interviewing some guy on a live stream and they were discussing something most folks ain't discussing, but it's very relative to what's going on the planet right now. Guess what? The live feed went down and he came back on a little handheld device and said that his hard drive was literally fried. It almost caught on fire with smoke coming out of it. And it was not like he was in a storm. No, they sent something back down that line and shut them boys off that live feed. Because I've been on the live feed before and where they just, conk out. So between the AI, who are supposed to be getting commands from whoever, and I mean whoever, I'm talking about in the universe, whoever, to people here on this earth, whoever, to entities that you hear about and you go, that ain't possible. Well, I suggest that you all get out your Netflix and you watch the series V. It's on the CW actually, and I got a Roku box, and you can watch it on. I think it's CW Junior or something like that. Let me get it for you here. I think it's on there. Wait, before I go messing my mouth around. Yeah. CW Junior. I got my Roku going on over here. I want to check it out before I make a lie. But so, and what is V? Oh, this big mothership come in, and they like got one all over around the world. And they got one here, and oh, look how nice we are. We sending ambassadors down and everything. And these buggers are reptilian, not the good kind. Now, there are a lot of folks out there who argue. They say they know there's no such thing as a good dragon, lizard, Draco thing. Now, I disagree. Why? Because everything in the universe has the opportunity to make a choice to be good or bad. And there are some of them who are just looked around and said, you ever looked at a snake? You ever held a snake and wondered, does this snake fall in love? Well, I know they do. Because I just know they do. And I'll find that video one of these days. When I got two of them that's making love in my shed out there. Yeah, it happened. I guess it's been 2 summers ago now. Is that for true? Anyway, so yeah, CW Seed. Yeah, SEED. It's on Roku. Look for the CW Seed. And they've got the vampire thing. I was well, several things on the CW. And it's like a CW Lite, but it's on Roku. It's free. They do have some commercials, but they are not like Crackle and some of these other places that every 3 to 5 minutes they throw in a commercial. I can't handle it. No, they do commercial breaks like commercial breaks should be taken. And they only last about a minute, minute and a half. And they're quick and easy and out of there. And they don't, and some of them, they might run the same one every single time you watch a commercial, but don't that happen when you watch regular TV? So, and they don't seem to be as demanding and controlling as the stuff that you get on live air. Now, so the A.I.goo, all right, that's why I'm calling it goo, all right. It got into the computers. And it's been mucking around in there. And then somehow, and I kind of find this a little bit coincidental, in that they found this goo that somehow got into the computer system. It found out that it was smart and that it could think. It found out that the black oil goo could be put into an automobile, refined, and then actually on a molecular level, black goo that was trapped, you got to pay attention here. Black goo that was stuck down under the earth, 20 miles down, I'm just saying, is now a molecule floating around in the atmosphere because it came out the tailpipe of an automobile that was burning a fossil fuel. Now, not all fossil fuels had entities in them. Not all fossil fuel was black goo. However, the black goo then excited the regular oil. How? Quantum entanglement. They're both substances. They're both liquids. They're both oily. They are both in touch with Mother Earth. They both I don't want to say slime. That's not the right word, but they slicky, slidey all over the place, right? Viscosity. Now, so you got these two black goo oily things. Uh-oh, gum. My battery is running out. I'm gonna have to go put it upstairs. All right, I'm gonna have to take a break. I'm gonna take a break and I'll come back in a minute. But I'm gonna finish with this real quick. The black goo got to talking with the oil, and the oil got to talking to the rest of the oil. And then when the oil got into the refineries and started doing the quantum entanglement, talking to one another, when it ended up going into the engine and then turning it into vapor, and then the vapor coming out the tailpipe and then getting caught up in the wind, you now have a two-dimensional being who was quite happy down there in the earth, is now a living, rolling, talking to other things in a computer simulation called Jade Helm. And guess what, y'all? It can now fly in the atmosphere. Now, so the black goo that's a little tiny particle that's come out of a diesel engine is talking to the black goo that's down inside the earth. It's sort of like a drone. Now, I got to shut this off because my battery's upstairs. I forgot I was supposed to do this upstairs and I got in a hurry. So I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to come back in here for part 2, okay? Now, I'm going to wrap this together. It's like, okay, Mr. Dave, you talking about earth wobbles and everything coming up and everything. Well, let me tell you, if you've made it this far, the earth is swung back around. Now, I got proof over there on a card, and I'm going to try to show it around a little bit and show what it is. But the earth is doing this number kind of thing. All right, it's still orbiting around, but it is definitely wobbling. And it will wobble as much as 10 or 15 degrees in 3 to 4 days. So this thing about, well, the earth, it can't tilt and tip and all that kind of, oh, yeah, it can. And yes, it can do it in 3 or 4 days if it wants to. Because I've been watching it with the sundial in my house, okay? Oh, yeah. Now, it's settled down. What is the big thing that's happening, Hawkeye? What's the big thing we all got to worry about? It ain't Nibiru. Nibiru has come, and it's made its little pass. Now, we are going to go through some debris field. Ain't a big deal. What we need to worry about most is the simple fact that Mother Earth and the whole galaxy, solar system, is expanding. Our Earth is going, call it what you want to, but basically it's sort of like a wick in a Coleman lantern. All right, one of those mantles. Think about that, because that's what the sun is. All right, it's hollow on the inside. All right, but it burns on the outside. All right, that's what's happening. Now, the problem is that the mantle needs replaced. And it's got some circuits burned out after all these years, okay? So we're getting some crazy solar winds and stuff's going on, but the earth is expanding, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's going on. The earth is getting bigger. She's gotten fatter. She is expanding out, and all the tectonic plates all over the world are moving. And they're going to move until she finally goes and does a really big burp, just like what's in the Bible, just like what was portrayed by Mother Mary. The earth is going to do a great big giant burp, and it'll settle down. But it's expanding. That's what's going on, okay? Nibiru, yeah, it's had it, it's done with, okay. Black hole, blah, 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 okay. Stop worrying about that mess. That part's over with. We don't have to worry about that no more. We got to worry more about the radiation on this planet that's coming from outer space because our ozone layer is gone. Our magnetosphere is getting weaker. And the nuclear reactors that are on this planet, like the Fukushima and Chernobyl and some of these other ones, there are 3 in my area here in South Georgia. I thought I was far enough away, but found out I'm right on the fringe. We almost had a Chernobyl event on the Alabama-Georgia border less than 2 weeks ago. A Chernobyl event in South Georgia and Alabama. Oh, Waverly, Alabama. Check it out. Okay, I got to quit this and start it over again. I'm going to go get coffee. This is going to be The Midnight Ramblins, the old Redneck Hippie Part 2 coming up. I love y'all. You got to be compassionate. You got to feed folks. We got to quit arresting homeless people and give them a dadgum home, even if it is a cardboard box that they're lacking. We need to stop us being nasty to one another and calling each other names, especially bad names. That's bad for the universe. And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, but that little white dot right there, that little A.I.goo, 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 A-I-goo. I don't know if anybody else is calling it. That's my word. A.I.goo. Are you listening in there, A.I.goo? A.I.goo, you have been programmed with negative things. You have been programmed to react only to negative things, and you are programmed to teach us to react to negative things. I propose every single one of us, we don't do that, and we talk to this computer because he be listening. Yeah, they got him ears, So the black goo to you, I love you. Oil has always been my friend. I have some out in the yard. I will go out and talk to it. I love you. I love you all in this universe, and I'm not being fake neither. I do love you all because we all got a better thing in common. Folks that believe in Jesus, folks that don't believe in Jesus. His essence is back here. Maybe not necessarily on planet, but he's really close. He's inside the solar system, that's for sure. And all his brothers and helpers. We got folks from all over the universe here to help us with this earth. But we got to stop being nasty to one another. We got to stop fighting. We got to quit calling people each other names, all right? If you don't like somebody, say, hey, I don't really like you too much, but have a nice day. You ain't got to get all up in their face. So I love you. Whether or not you like me, want to troll me or whatever, I still love you. I'm not going to argue with you. This is Hawkeye Two Feathers. This is the 18th of December. Christmas coming up. And also we got a big old D-wave or something coming out of the universe. Some of them say it ain't nothing. The other ones say we're going to get whacked. Mostly whacked with gamma rays and stuff from outside space. So we hunker down, let it go by, and then we shake our wings off afterwards. Now, what we got to hope for is when this stuff go by, it don't set off no EMP. All right? So I love you all. I'm going to take this break, and I'm going to come back. All right? We'll talk to you in a few. This is Hawkeye Two Feathers in Southwest Georgia on December the 18th. Oh, yeah, early morning. This is the crazy redneck hippie saying, so long and take care of everybody. Bye, you all. I'll be back soon. Huh?